Ten title on the line. Possible player of the year on the line. LaurenBetts and UCLA. JuJuWatkins and USC. Everything at stake. Top of the hour from Paulie.
Big Ten's leading scorer, superstar, USC's JuJuWatkins averaging over 24 points per game. She scored 38 in the Trojans' win over UCLA last month. A rematch for the Big Ten title next on Fox.
Welcome to the 110th edition of the Crosstown Showdown. The left wing step back, falls to the floor, keeps her dribble of another triple. Again! 5 3-pointers in the first half.
There it is, high-low, deep catch, shade one opportunity for LaurenBetts.
Going for gold, never the Browns, I'm breaking the mold.
They take down #1 UCLA at home.
I know that it's part of the game, I'm going for gold.
How about UCLA's All-American LaurenBetts ranked second in the Big Ten with 15 double-doubles this season. She'll lead her Bruins against USC in just a few minutes right here on Fox. You got JuJu, you got Betts, you got Hill, you got Adams right here. You got Fox College Hoop Studios. Big star-studded weekend already in Los Angeles because of the Oscars. And Kim, these ladies plan on writing their own script tonight.
Yeah, the scriptwriters got this one exactly right, Mike. To think that this is the final day of the regular season and there is a Big Ten outright championship on the line, the rivalry between these two schools, and on top of that, we have maybe the top 2 players in the game going head-to-head. The first meeting was electric, as we just saw in those highlights, and I'm hoping the second meeting delivers as well. It's round 2 tonight.
The Big Ten trophy is in the building. It's not hyperbole to say that this could be the best college basketball game of the season. But before we get you out to Westwood, let's get you caught up on some highlights from elsewhere across the nation, including the Big Ten battle between Minnesota and #23 Michigan State.
Yeah, this has been a gauntlet of a Big Ten conference all season long. Theron Halleck with the Euro step. It was tight here, but then Michigan State's experience would surge. Julie Ayral has been a Spartan for 6 seasons, a big triple there, and Michigan State rolls to the finish.
Sparty's 21st win of the season, number 18 West Virginia at Cincinnati.
JJ Quinterly, she gets it done on both ends. Little crossover right to the rack. She had 24 in the first half, Mike.
Yep, 24 of her 31 points coming in the first half as West Virginia wins this one 85-69 to go to 23-6 on the season. How about this finish? BYU-Utah rivalry, 10 seconds remaining in overtime, tied at 73. Off the steal, Maddie Wilkie from half court.
No.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wow. Teams practice these half-court shots every single day now to end shoot-arounds. Maddie Wilkie, did that bank in or was that a swish? I couldn't tell by the angle. Either way, it's a dub.
Off the bank. Practice makes perfect. Hey, how about perfect, man? Just over 2 weeks ago at the Galen Center in downtown L.A., USC handed then #1 UCLA its only loss of the season, ended their perfect season. Bruins star centers LaurenBetts scored 18 points with just 5 of 13 from the floor. All-American JuJuWatkins led the victorious Trojans with 38 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists to go with a career-high 8 block shots in SC's 71-60 win, man. USC was all over it. JuJu was doing her thing. UCLA has now lost 3 straight in this series, so how do they flip that script tonight?
Yeah, well, it goes without saying that they have to do a better job defending JuJuWatkins. She had 25 points. In the first half of that matchup, she was 6 of 9 from 3. UCLA never adjusted in the first half. They made mistakes. They missed coverages, so there has to be a much greater attention to detail on locating and knowing how they're going to defend JuJuWatkins. And then they have to be a great defensive rebounding team tonight. I've talked to Corey Close over the last couple of weeks, and she has said, this is the hardest working team I have ever coached, but the worst defensive rebounding team that I have coached in a decade. She did not mince words. So USC had 14 second chance points in that first meeting, just 3 for UCLA. So they have to be really dominant on the defensive glass, and it starts with LaurenBetts right there.
Well, if USC wants to win, just keep on giving the ball to JuJu. She was dominant in that first game. She's been dominant all season long.
Yeah, I mean, that'll work. They do need to find, I think, a third and fourth score in this game to put up double digits. They only had 2 in the first meeting. Obviously, it didn't need much because JuJu got 38, but I would imagine the defense is going to be tighter on her. And then USC has to do it how they did in the first game with disruptive defense. They were able to force 20 UCLA turnovers. You really want LaurenBetts to feel pressure and uncomfortable to disrupt that offense.
We got Lauren, we got JuJu, we got tip-off in Westwood. Let's get y'all at the Pauley Pavilion. J.C. Benetti, Sarah Kustok. We'll see you back here at the half.
Cardinal and blue battle for the sky over Santa Monica. And they battle for the Big Ten title as well. Luminaries everywhere. The Millers, Ann Myers-Drysdale, the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL, Jaden Daniels. Funny people everywhere, Leslie Jones included, to see these player of the year candidates. LaurenBetts of UCLA, JuJuWatkins of USC. To the winner goes the Big Ten championship. It is as simple as that, writ large on the marquee. You get the conference and you get the city if you win tonight. Jason Benetti, Sarah Kustok, Allison Williams, so excited to be here. Toughest ticket in town. It's because of Watkins and Betts. Let's start with JuJuWatkins, who was awesome the first time around.
When the lights are brightest, she tends to be at her very best, and that's exactly what JuJuWatkins did the last time these two teams met. And overall, JuJuWatkins is such a complete package, and that's what makes her such a tough matchup on both ends of the floor. You can see the numbers, but it does not do justice for the impact that she has on a game, on her team, and how she was able to affect a game, and they're going to get that here tonight.
For UCLA, LaurenBetts said this week we can do so much better than the first game. How does she do that tonight?
Well, it starts with her dominance on the inside, and LaurenBetts is a player who understands how to utilize her size to her advantage in so many different ways. She's physical, but she also has finesse and a beautiful understanding of how she's able to orchestrate what this team does on both sides.
This is the game of the year in women's college basketball, and maybe college basketball on the whole. USC and UCLA, a title waiting on the horizon. We'll tip it next.
Don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing this game. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners. Okay? All right, let's go!
Doesn't matter if it's Hickory High School or an entire city of Los Angeles, basketball has deep meaning. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Ram. For USC, JuJuWatkins. But again, the secondary players like Kiki Iriafen will be so important. For UCLA, yes, indeed, LaurenBetts. But can London Jones defend JuJuWatkins like last time when she tried to and was successful sometimes? Kiki Rice, how does she shoot the ball as well? Who is the best supporting player for both of these teams tonight, and what is on the line? It's emotion through the roof. Allison Williams.
It sure is, Jason, with everything on the line in this Big Ten title rivalry game. Both head coaches very candid about coaching the emotion of this game. USC's Lindsay Gottlieb told us there has to be urgency, but not tightness. We're at our best when we play joyful and juicy. UCLA's Corey Close told us emotion can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you handle it. And last time against USC, we didn't handle it well. In fact, she said we got punked. We were outworked. We were out-toughed. Whoever handles that emotion and adversity better tonight will win this game.
Allison, that is what we're going to be watching all night long, is where is the energy? Who is using it best? And for UCLA, the last message in shoot-around, as Allison alluded to, was handle the next step properly. Paraphrasing here, right? Yes, you could have an emotional reaction, but make sure the next thing you do is the right thing.
And overall, in that last meeting, USC was the one who set the tone early. They hit first. They protected their home court. I know that this is the Battle of Los Angeles, but for UCLA, it's about how they come out and setting the tone out of the gates, because both of these teams are so predominant in what they can do on the defensive end.
The Big Ten title is on the line. Both of these teams are 1 seeds right now, according to the projections from the committee. They could get together again in a Final Four, in a national title game. But for now, there is 1 trophy and 1 city at stake at historic Pauley Pavilion. USC and UCLA, here we go. Kiki Rice for UCLA. And this Bruins team just 1 loss all year. They have been dominant all season long into the post. Here is Betts turning and firing. She misses. She gets a second chance. Dugalich rattled it out.
But rebounding is a huge factor. It's such a big strength of UCLA, so their second chance opportunities is something that USC needs to be very mindful of.
Oh, boy. JuJuWatkins has the first bucket.
And a three-point shot. We know what she did in that first quarter at USC and how she lit things up from the three-point line. A major factor in how they got their start.
38 points. The 8 blocks might have been the story of the year in college basketball. Her defense was outstanding. And here is deep position for Betts. She gives it up. Refeed very quickly. She got deeper and missed.
And that's tough defense by Marshall. You said it, though. That's going to be a key for Betts, how deep she can see it.
Kiki Iriafen. Second chance for her. That jumper is good for Rhea Marshall, and USC has a 5-0 lead.
I tell you what, you see the look on their face, the comfort and the ease they're getting into their offense, how they're being staunch on the defensive end. They look confident.
That's a miss for Rice. USC, as Allison said, was in control at the end of that game last time, and now maybe some transition for UCLA. And London Jones, a very strong shooter. It's in the high post here. Tight defense by Iriafen, who has just been fantastic this year. Dugalich is pinned, and it's a turnover.
USC is dominant on the defensive side, and that's a big reason why they're able to be fluid into their offense when they get stops. You look right here, and Iriafen just does a great job of bottling up Dugalich. Can't do much with it, the 3-second call, but overall possessions for UCLA on the offensive end has been disjointed.
USC has 10 wins by 30-plus this year. Here is Watkins. Top pull-up. Oh, this could be one of those nights for JuJuWatkins again.
She had a signature night at USC, 25 points in the first half, which included 6 threes, and she's cooking already.
Dugalich, that rattled out. Betts had it pried away by Talia von Oelhoffen, and a tie-up will go to USC. The emotion is the Trojans' way so far.
Well, you can feel it. And with the Bruins, you think about how many looks they've gotten that have bounced in and out. Some bunnies that they would normally make uncharacteristic misses. And some of that may be nerves. Some of that's the heightened emotions. And sometimes shots just don't fall. But it's about staying composed. And they're a veteran group that should be able to do that here at home.
They're shooting nearly 50% for the year as a team. 48.5%. Starts her move. She'll kick it out. Another jumper for Marshall. This one won't fall. Iriafen's got the rebound. Got it back, and there's 2 down low. Rhea Marshall battling down there with Iriafen.
I don't know if that was an intended pass from Iriafen, but give her assist anyway as it bounced over to Marshall. A good job. Again, the multiple effort plays that the Trojans have brought to the table early on have been critical.
It's an extension of that 4th quarter from that meeting a couple of weeks ago at Galen Center, don't you think?
Yeah, well, without a doubt, but I think overall, even in that game, you don't want to compare it too much, though it was very recent. And so that's why I think both of these teams will take from it, learn from it, but that's where the confidence comes from in USC and this team who JuJuWatkins herself has been very admittedly about having some tough weeks, but she is locked in.
There's another miss. Janiah Barker that time. UCLA is 0 for 6. Lead pass up ahead, taken away from Iriafen. Watkins waits for Rice into the front court. That three will not fall. For Watkins, followed no. JuJu on the move. JuJuWatkins, a Euro step. She spun it out. Boy, USC really could have a larger lead in this game right now.
Well, and you look at how USC plays, so much of what they want to do is get it in transition, that early type of offense. That comes from getting stops and getting rebounds, which they have done.
That two goes for Barker. The first points for UCLA. She missed the last game, but had 10 big points in the first meeting.
And Barker's going to be important. You mentioned it in going through the lineup. So we know the star power on the floor, but it is the complementary players. There's a reason these are the number 2 and number 4 teams in the country.
JuJu got caught midair, got the kick out, and then picks up 3 and a foul from the wing. Von Oelhoffen drops it in.
And Von Oelhoffen is such an important piece to this team, especially when she's able to knock down three-point shots. It's not something that she has done with great regularity and efficiency, but she will take them. She takes that confidently, and as you can see, Hanka's getting underneath her landing space to give her an opportunity at the line.
That's her first 3 in the last 4 games. She came in 0 for her last 5, and Talia Von Oelhoffen, whose dad, Kimo, was an NFL player for a decade and a half, has a 4-point play as Kaylee Heckel comes into the ballgame, the freshman for USC. And by the way, you saw a little while ago Clarice Akunwafo into the game as well. She is so important as a defender against LaurenBetts. She played 21 minutes in the first meeting and did not shoot the ball.
Well, and that's the part of what it means to be a team and understand roles and understand the impact you can have. Akunwafo is an important aspect of that because USC will toss multiple looks at bets, multiple players. They'll show doubles. They'll do a lot of different things to try and make it tough for her on her catches. And you can see Akunwafo doing on this possession.
Rice. Oh, wow. Smooth.
And for Kiki Rice, seeing it go through for UCLA, like I said, they're a composed team.
JuJu, a soft roll. She's got 2 more, nearly half the points for USC.
She's special. There's no other ways to say it. And when the moments are biggest, she seems to be at her best.
That is a foul on Akunwafo, her first. She had 4 in the first meeting, and it didn't matter. Okay, JuJuWatkins, you say biggest moments, best plays. Here we go again.
Getting to her spots.
The lotion soft skin now from your body wash. 83 and 84, the heyday for USC women's basketball. Back-to-back national champions, Cheryl Miller and her teammates, the toast of the town. Brother Reggie wearing his own jersey of UCLA. That's a LaurenBetts jersey, by the way. It's 51, not 31. And right now, Cheryl is watching somebody who might take her scoring average record from her.
There have been some greats in this game to come through USC, and JuJuWatkins has proven to be one of them already. You see the ways in which she's gotten to her spot. She's been authoritative and assertive in looking for baskets, and this is exactly what we saw in that last meeting in the first quarter, understanding, setting the tone, and how she's able to use her size, her physicality, in getting to places on the floor and reading what UCLA is throwing at her defensively, because they're going to give her some different looks with different players.
Same for LaurenBetts from USC defensively. Here is Iriafen on the defense. Barker hit the underside of the rim, and it's out of bounds to USC.
And a lot of what you're seeing, too, USC's defense is excellent, and they have been. And so it allows them to get to their offense even quicker. And for JuJu and what she's been able to do, she wants to go right. We talked to Corey Close about that. Everyone knows that, but she still finds ways to manipulate the defense to get the shots that she wants.
See the edge right there, giving her the left hand. Corey Close said if we can just make it like 30% that she goes right instead of 70%, that's good news for us. Iriafen misses the jumper and the rebound for UCLA and the freshman Arnisalo. Big 3 for the Bruins is good for Gardner. She was awesome against Arkansas in November. She hit 7 of them, and that would be a game changer for the Bruins. Heckel missed the turnaround.
She's key. Gardner shooting 38% from 3 on the season. So you look at the areas of these teams and strengths and what you try to exploit, what may be key factors. And three-point shooting, no question, will be one of those. And it's a typical thing in most games, but it changes the dynamic of how UCLA plays, especially when you're forced to extend your defense, and that allows for Betts to better operate on the inside.
It's a great point. That's certainly, that type of three could affect how much post presence UCLA has later in the game. Watkins with Gardner now. Barker is sizing up Iriafen, trying to tunnel through. Great defense. Oh, she scored anyway, and a foul. That's 2 on Iriafen, and UCLA charging hard.
Janiah Barker is impactful. She's a transfer from Texas A&M. She's got size, strength, and that's a pretty fadeaway over a tough defender in Kiki Iriafen. And you had mentioned the last time they played USC, she came off the bench and she just gave a solid 18 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds. She had a block, but she had a level of confidence to her. And new to this rivalry, new to what this means, but you can see that she's been very steady in her presence on the floor, and doing so again now that they have her matched up against Watkins.
She just knocked Iriafen out of the ball game for at least a chunk of time here. That's kicked by Arnisalo.
But these are going to be interesting possessions. You see Barker, she did this before, face guarding Watkins and just kind of trying to take her out of the possession. And so what do the teammates, other players on the floor of USC do to still try and operate and run an offense, even if Watkins isn't quite as involved?
She wants it here. She's got it. Catch and shoot. And it's a bullseye. Involved, you say?
Never mind. A little pin down, get open, but that's where Watkins is so good at picking her spots.
Basically every spot has been her spot so far tonight. Double figures already. Arnisalo, deep post presence. Betts.
That's it. And that's the key for Betts. If she can get that deep of a seal and that deep of a position, doing her work before the catch, it is nearly impossible to stop.
JuJu got it again. The visceral reaction by Corey Close on the sideline says it all. She's like, man, you cannot leave her that step.
You give her that type of space. The tough part is, though, it's easy to say, much harder to do, knowing she can get to her mid-range, get to the basket. She's so patient in how she reads the defense, but as you watch right here, she's going to come off that screen again. Barker goes under, and this is what UCLA did for the entirety of the first half and much of the game against Watkins, going underneath the screen, and that's all she needs is that split second of airspace to get off a shot. And when she is hitting, she is hitting. And a player like her that sees it go through, the basket feels massive.
How do you defend that when she's seeing?
Well, you got to, part of it, which, again, easier said than done, UCLA is trying to do, it's before the catch.
Downstairs, there's a 2 for Gardner. She has 5.
A really good play, out of bounds under for UCLA. Try and get some easy ones.
Reaching in, trying to affect Watkins. She gave it up. Avery Howell missed it. Rebound for Barker. And we get a foul against USC. That's number 5 already in the quarter. Todd Kennedy-Smith.
And that's a give and take for USC, and really for both of these teams. But the pressure that USC, in particular Kennedy-Smith, wants to put on the ball, getting in passing lanes, make sure you feel them. Sometimes that results in picking up some early fouls and giving opportunities at the line. And the interesting part is that UCLA is not a team that gets to the line a lot. They're not necessarily manufacturing a ton of points from the charity stripe. So if they're able to do so, it's just an added bonus for what is a very elite offense.
Yeah, they're only plus 45 for the year in free throw attempts against their opponents. Parker missed it. And we saw Lindsey Gottlieb, the head coach for USC, and we were talking to Corey Close and Lindsey Gottlieb the last couple of days. And Close mentioned that they had a conversation last night about a topic that was totally different. But Corey Close said it's not lost on either of us how big of a scene this is and how big of a jump this is for women's basketball from when they started, when they played, when they started coaching, and how important this night is to the sport. And it's very cool to see that level of camaraderie, and then they go battle for a title. Kennedy Smith on the duck in, missed it. Gets over the top, had her arm chopped, and she will go to the free throw line. What were you thinking when we heard Corey Close say that?
Oh, I was going to say, we're going to get into this more later in the game because it's so good now. I had chills, and it makes me emotional. And what those before me and for all of us have laid the foundation of women's sports. I think about us being on primetime hoops with women's basketball so often this season. We had the first game last year with Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, and when they were playing Ohio State, that was the first time for Fox that women's basketball was in primetime hoops. And now, like, these women are talented. They can showcase their skills in ways, and you see it, you feel it in this arena. You feel the energy, the attention, and it is a long time coming to deserve, but pay tribute and appreciation and gratitude for those like we're talking about, the Cheryl Millers that are sitting here, Ann Myers-Drysdale, who's in the building, Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie, all of those. There's a reason why all of us are sitting here so enthused about what's happening here on the floor.
This really is the toughest ticket in town as Watkins misses short. Rebound, Arnisalo. Hit ahead for Rice, punched away by Watkins. Von Oelhoffen threads it through somehow. Oh my goodness gracious, what a pass to Heckel.
Filthy, because Heckel's got the speed, and everyone on that break thought that Von Oelhoffen was going to JuJu Watkins. Had the attention on the weak side of the floor. Watch this three-man run. Beautiful defense of the poke from behind, but Von Oelhoffen holds it long enough, and Heckel just sliding right underneath. It's a great run, great push. We're going to say it over and over again. Almost a quarter of the scoring of USC has come from Daniels.
That was a Jaden Daniels-like pass.
He's probably impressed with tossing a teammate open because he does plenty of that.
I think
he was at the he's here often.
He is. He and Sudeikis, I feel like, have season tickets to both sides of town. Jaden Daniels, I think, is number one most excited about that pass. Number two, excited about the possibility of Deebo Samuel, as we heard a couple hours before the game. JuJu's feeling it. That's front iron, and the rebound for UCLA. Credit the Bruins for hanging around here.
You've got to feel very good about the fact that they have not played their best basketball. They've missed shots they would normally make.
Dugalich, too strong. Rebound, wrestled down by Von Oelhoffen.
And you're still looking at a two-possession game.
Another tough pass. That's wiped away by Rice. Don't go breaking her heart, Kiki.
Look at this anticipation. Excellent job, Kiki Rice coming over for the block. Both these teams like to throw some block parties. Kiki Rice a part of that off that possession, and it's just good job getting back in that transition defense and identifying early, because USC will find players with their leak outs and with their runs.
Tipped by Dugalich out of bounds. Worth mentioning, by the way, Sarah, at a minute left in the first quarter, Kiki Iriafen 2 fouls, Kennedy Smith 2 fouls for USC.
And that becomes important, but overall on the floor, that's why USC has been so impressive, because of the young players, the freshmen that they have, despite Kennedy Smith being one of those, but have relied upon, that have been so steady on the floor.
They showed the double. There it is. Watkins has to hook a pass out of it, and still 12 to shoot for Von Oelhoffen. On the drive, a long step. She missed it short. Rebound, UCLA. Rice tiptoeing the sideline. Kiki Rice full of energy. Dugalich knocks it down.
You know it was only a matter of time, and Dugalich is a player that can open up the floor with her deep shooting. That's a big-time knockdown as they're heading here and closing out this first quarter.
This place has been wired all night long, and it is up for grabs.
It's a little hot in here, Jay.
It's getting louder somehow. Watkins met by Barker. She'll back off now. Rice has her. Watkins, here comes Barker. Watkins gave it up. Rhea Marshall. UCLA creates a shot clock violation with tag team defense. That is a whale of off a defensive possession by UCLA.
They are throwing bodies in traffic at JuJu Watkins, and despite all of that, she's still been able to put up big numbers here in this first quarter. 0.5 on the clock because of the shot clock violation, but yeah, UCLA knows that they're not going to be able to single cover
the shot clock violation. However, we are going to monitor to note the time. It is possible that there was a timing error.
So they might have a little extra time is what we're hearing there. So 23-20, this was 15-4 USC. It's a 16-8 run. Let's watch here and see how much should be remaining.
1.9, 2.
Yeah, totally with you on that. That completely changes what UCLA can do.
It does. But nonetheless, to your point of UCLA just staying patient through this one, missing some shots they would normally make, some good play and good push by USC, and overall to still, at this point, whatever it becomes, but a 3-point game. You got to feel solid about that here at home with the crowd behind you. Man, the crowd's jumping.
It has not been quiet once. Sarah, when we walked in right next to Leslie Jones. Right there, it was about 150 people deep.
I thought the entourage was for us.
It was definitely not.
Pictures, autographs, and Jason Benetti.
After review, the clock has been adjusted to 1.1.
Oh, 1.1. We don't want to lose even a second on this game. So, like, we feel cheated of 0.8 seconds of what's going to be a great college basketball game here. All right, 1.1. One dribble, shoot, or catch and shoot.
Catch and shoot.
If you're USC, do you get up on the ball here?
Yeah, you want to make sure though that they don't get anything over the top, which is what they're looking for.
That's what they're trying to do. Barker the catch. She's got a good look. Well, if the next 3 quarters are like this first quarter, yeah, you don't need your remote.
Big Ten title on the line. Los Angeles bragging rights on the line, and all the stars are out tonight, and they have been popping early. USC 3-point lead here. Some primetime hoops.
Hoops is powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Closely played first quarter, Big Ten on the line, Allison Williams.
Yeah, Jason, UCLA head coach Corey Close told us whichever team could handle the emotion and adversity in this game would have the edge, and the Bruins showing that ability here early. The mental side of the game, a huge point of emphasis for the Bruins. They call it mind gym. They've brought in multiple sports psychologists through the years, but lately assistant coach Tasha Brown has taken over that role. And while the message is always evolving, it revolves around 3 pillars: self-image, self-awareness, and self-talk. Today, the big message was team glory. How can we add and multiply what others around us are doing? Now, early on in that first quarter, they were telling the team, you have to reset and refocus, and the Bruins able to do just that to get this game within 3.
Allison, I mean, it's exactly as they kind of drew it up and shoot around. You're going to have to take a punch at some point today, and they did right out of the gate, and UCLA has seen that work really pay off. Kennedy Smith back in with 2 fouls defending Rice. Got to be careful. Rice got into a thicket of defensive players. She gave it up. Watkins, too short. Rebound. Out of bounds to USC.
And those are the shots, though, you got to make sure don't mentally wear on you, or that you continue to operate in the same ways which you are, because UCLA has missed shots that have created quality ones, some close ones to the basket that just have not gone through. But the mental part of it is huge. That's why you give these players so much credit for the understanding of that and how to best use that and channel that to their advantage.
See what USC does without JuJu Watkins, and the answer is a 3 from Kennedy Smith.
Look, they're confident. They have got a feel about them, a moxie about them, and how they play, how they've shown up, and it matters.
Smith in the passing lane, picks it off. Area Finn filling the lane for 2, and it's a 5-0 run out of the gate in the second quarter with Watkins on the bench.
Defense to offense, 8 points off turnovers now for USC.
average 20 forced turnovers per game. If that's Iriefin, that's her third.
That's her third, so that's a tough one. But this is a tough steal here by Kennedy Smith. Shoots the gap in the passing lanes, then maintains control, finding Iriefin on the run. It is a beautiful play that you see typical of how the Trojans want to navigate through that defensive side to get them some early offense. But that's big to have Kiki Iriefin with 3 fouls at this point of the game. You know how important she is to this group on both sides.
I mean, when she decided to transfer, she got on the phone with JuJuWatkins to make sure it was the right fit for both of them. They are 2 peas in a pod, really. And we get a foul on the floor against USC. JuJu doesn't love it, but for Kiki Iriefin, 4 of her last 8 games, 20-plus points. She's an important connector on the defensive end as well. How long
hugely
can she sit?
At this point, you got to kind of see what the score looks like. You've at least sitting here with a lead and some breathing room to make sure you get into that second half. Because you think about Iriefin in the last meeting, she struggled early on, but was critical in the 4th quarter, coming up with 9 points. And so it was JuJu carrying it early. JuJu really carrying it from start to finish.
Yeah.
But you need Iriefin in her presence, her experience, and what she brings to the table if you're trying to close this one out. And you got to think about that big picture.
The lead is 8 for USC. They get down low again. That won't fall for Akunwafo, but it's pried away by Howell. Got all the way downstairs, then threw it into the backcourt. It's a USC turnover eventually. Lindsey Gottlieb, year number 4. USC, a 1 seed last year, trying to make it back-to-back years with a 1 seed. They got bounced last year, just shy of the Final Four. UCLA has never been to a Final Four in the current state of NCAA women's basketball. They did win a title back in 1978 in the AIAW days behind Ann Myers-Drysdale, among others, who we saw earlier tonight. Rice, step back. Tough shot. Watkins on the gas pedal. Look out. She'll go to the free throw line. 8 times this year, Sarah, JuJuWatkins has taken at least 10 free throws in a game.
She's tall, she's strong, she knows how to create contact, and you watch her just coming right into the body of Kiki Rice. There's so many things we talk about when it comes to JuJuWatkins, and that includes both ends of the floor. It's not just about the scorer she is, it's how she continues to grow as a facilitator. You can go back to those 8 blocks she had against UCLA in the win, but it's her ability to score at all 3 levels and know how to get to spots without getting sped up in the reads of the defense. And I think that's in some ways the biggest growth from her freshman year to her sophomore year. She has seen every defensive coverage thrown at her, and every game plan is against her, and how she continues to find ways to still put up those numbers. And I think sometimes that may have contributed to the little bit of a down stretch or uncharacteristic stretch we saw from her through the mid part of the season. But now I think that's where this chess match comes in with Corey Close with UCLA, how they continue to try and make things really tough for Watkins, and hopefully that will mitigate some of the looks that USC is getting on the offensive side.
Betts is deep here against Akunwafo. She gave it up. There's a refeed of the post again. Akunwafo, hello, Clarice.
Man, she's tough. Speaking of size and strength, and not often do you see that up against LaurenBetts. Normally can have her way, but what they want her to do is put it on the floor.
That's a nice out-of-bounds play for Watkins and UCLA.
Not the first time we've said that about the Bruins. They do a very good job in their execution of cutting, and sometimes the other players attract so much gravity that it opens up those cuts.
JuJu twice thought about a shot. Instead, gave it up for Smith, who misses. The Watkins legacy continues at UCLA. Here is Betts against Akunwafo. Oh, a little step through. There's Watkins again.
LaurenBetts knowing how to pass out the double, nearly triple team, and what a cut by Watkins.
Rebound, foul against Gardner.
Those are the things that make UCLA special. When Betts sees 2-3 players on her, everyone, defense collapses. Look at all eyes are on her. Watkins with the cut from the weak side. And I think that type of movement is what we haven't seen enough of from the Bruins. They're trying to space things out, yes, and look for three-point shots, but they've got so many great slashers that can cut off the ball.
Watkins, who grew up wanting to play for UCLA, couldn't have even imagined a game like this, right? For a title on the line in this city, and that is somehow going to go down for Kennedy Smith. What in the world? All we were missing was the trapeze. This game has been wild. The atmosphere has been absolutely volatile in the best way. Betts is deep, knocked away by Akunwafo. She is staunch down there. What big minutes she's played in this series. A screen from Akunwafo. Von Oelhoffen knocks it down. That was 94 feet of outside of the box score brilliance from Akunwafo.
Getting after it on the defensive end and then doing the little things offensively to free up her teammates. USC's rolling.
Still have a chance to say you were a fan before everybody else. Oh, too late.
Gaga and Mariah receive iHeart's top honors. The iHeart Radio Music Awards, live Monday, March 17th on Fox.
JuJu Watkins is making big moves on and off the court. Check out this larger-than-life mural downtown Los Angeles as Nike celebrates her in their latest So Win campaign. We mentioned, and no joke, this is the toughest ticket in town. Leslie Jones, your biggest fan. She's holding the biggest fan in the entire arena. Miles Garrett.
Okay.
That's a Cleveland Browns graphic, at least for the next 10 minutes. And then all of us very excited to see John Legend here as well. This is the center of Hollywood this evening.
We don't even have it. We got to get to the game. We don't even have time to show so many of the rest of the stars out here to watch. A star here in JuJu Watkins, and the performance that USC has put on has been really impressive here at Pauley Pavilion on the road, understanding the magnitude of this game. Really strong starts. First quarter 13-2, beginning second quarter 11-4 start, and that's been a part of how they've understood how to punch first. And so a big test will be just the resiliency of the Bruins, which we've seen from them. There's a reason they are number 2 in the country and only have one loss so far this season, but a big part of it is just maintaining their composure.
Rhea Marshall tangled down low with Betts, denied her the ball. There's London Jones, who hasn't taken a shot from 3 yet. She lost it on the way through and picked up by Watkins. Betts, who didn't take the shot, snapped it wide to the corner instead. A miss for Jones. Betts clears the rebound, and a reset for UCLA. Surprising, LaurenBetts didn't take that shot.
I think she saw JuJu Watkins coming over, and Watkins had a couple blocks on her in his last meeting.
Betts is deep again. She scored.
And that's exactly what UCLA needs. And LaurenBetts is strong underneath, but it's that deep positioning that makes such a difference.
No dice. Rebound for Arnisalo. On the hit ahead for Betts. A little too much. Winner gets the Big Ten title outright. Winner gets the entire city outright. USC could get a sweep of the series this year.
It's a lot on the line. And it matters. It's that those things matter.
Catch Kennedy Smith. No.
Jay, on top of the fact, like, you could feel how special it is with so many LA-born players here on the floor.
Including Watkins. There's Rice on the drive. That's the follow, and she is fouled. Oh, no, they're going to say travel. Oh, my word. I mean.
That's a tough call.
Corey Close just said Chuck, and that is for Chuck Gonzalez, who is hearing all of it.
I on my first glance, you could fully understand their frustration.
Watkins pulling. Oh, that's rugged.
Again, though, she's going to her right. She's working in single coverage, and that's where it's the next play mentality. And whether she was or wasn't, but keep you guys potentially still thinking about that last possession. And JuJu got exactly where she wanted to on the floor.
Rice did that time. Rebound, Von Olhoffen. She had that pass sized up the whole way and nailed it to Kennedy Smith. A dime.
Credit to USC in transition, but there's been too many times that UCLA has been back, but have just gotten lost on weak side players filling the lanes.
Up from Watkins on Betts, and we get a whistle down low. Betts took an extra step. She is frustrated, you can tell.
Because there's a feel that she's getting hacked across the arm. Let's take a look at this. So you got the forearm bar, and then, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I can understand this frustration. There's a level of physicality to play with, but she's getting hit, she's getting grabbed in certain parts, and on that play in particular, I do feel like there could have been maybe a couple fouls called.
She's shaking her head right now, but this is exactly what Allison reported on, right? What is your next step in that? Do you carry that frustration to the next possession, or don't you? Watkins roaming, drops it off Marshall. Extra pass, got two, down low for Akunwafo.
That interior passing is special. The chemistry that we've seen grow from USC this season, those are the type of things that have changed.
That was surgery right there. Barker on the drive. Reverse no. Rebound Betts. Lost it on the way through. Was not on the end line. Knocked around. Taken back by Barker for UCLA. And what do we have? A foul, I believe. It is two shots coming. Don't get a foul earlier.
What you're seeing, though, is take a look right here. Good drive by Barker. And not a ton of contact there, I'll say. But overall, USC's defense is swarming. And it's characteristic of how they've played all season long. And they'll freelance a little. Watkins in particular will leave hers. Others will to come and double. They have good instincts of understanding the type of ball pressure they want, but also shooting the gaps off the ball. And that's where I think it's different in what the Trojans are able to do because of their reads on the off-ball defenders.
Corey Close says, I've been watching, if I'm reading lips properly. That was part of the conversation.
Try not to read lips. I feel like it leads me in bad places.
I'm here for you. I got it. 12-point game for USC. UCLA has never led tonight in a battle for the Big Ten title. JuJu Watkins on the kick, got it to the corner. That shot no good. Offensive rebound, Akunwafo, and she whistled it into the backcourt.
So there's give and take. That's an excellent offensive rebound. You love that from Akunwafo. She's done some great things, but possessions matter, and just continuing to make sure that you are valuing them and patient with your passing.
Just 4 turnovers so far for USC. Leach carving the lane. She was met by a double, and we get a foul. Watkins cannot believe it. That's 4 against USC. Neither coach is happy.
Look, I will say overall, this is a really, as you would anticipate, a really physical game. And both these teams, so much of what they do is dominance on the defensive side.
Oh, another slip from Watkins. She has been awesome away from the ball.
Out-of-bound under plays have been working for UCLA.
Watkins draws a whistle. I would venture to say, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, a physical game benefits USC tonight.
Yes, I think so. I think they've imposed their will. But what I will say to that capacity, too, and you're right, probably because a lot of what they do is a little bit more predicated on getting in the paint, on penetration, on drives, and they're a team that likes that type of contact. For UCLA, finding areas, though, that they can create three-point looks and potentially knock down three-point shots, I think is something to monitor, because that may change the dynamic of what happens here.
Watkins. No. Rebound up to the Waffle. Had it knocked away. It's on the end line or thereabouts. She picked it up off an ankle. Lost it on the way up with the ball, and it's taken by UCLA. Parker. They double the post again and rip it free. Watkins probing. Now starts her move. And scores! That is absolutely lethal from JuJu Watkins, who wants this to be her city.
She is strong, and her bag is deep. The pullback, the finish, she's got such great body control. And she knows exactly how to work those angles. And, yeah, she is locked in. You can see it in her face, see it in her eyes. I know Dugalich doesn't agree with this, but there's enough contact early on, and she had it on the gather. Already 19 points. And she's been doing it from everywhere, Jay. And she's also been really fluid in her reads. So she's looking to facilitate. She's made some really nice passes. But so much of it has been, she's getting to her right side, and that's what UCLA has got to stop.
That's a foul on Von Oelhoffen. At this moment, Sarah, it is 17-2 points off turnovers for USC. That is the third on Von Oelhoffen. So 3 on her, 3 on Iriafen, both for USC, 2 on Kennedy Smith, 2 on Rhea Marshall. That at some point becomes a critical mass for Lindsey Gottlieb.
Yeah, and that's the things you monitor. And again, both teams trying to exploit those differences. But you mentioned the points off turnovers. That's what USC does. That's a reason why, even though they're a team that doesn't take a lot of three-point shots, they don't necessarily always shoot the highest of efficiency, they will come at you in waves. They force nearly 20 opponent turnovers, and they're so good in then capitalizing at the other end.
That's why they've already won 2 road games against top 10 opponents this year. Heckel off the deflection, under a minute to go first half. Dugalich, good defense, screen from Akunwafo. Heckel blocked away by Gardner, just absolutely smothered.
Heckel's lightning quick, and she can get downhill in a hurry, but this is good help side coming over from Gardner, and Dugalich staying with her, and that's where the size advantage of the Bruins needs to come into play, especially when it comes to some of the perimeter players trying to get in.
JuJu on an island, 5 to shoot. She pulls and got it. Some nights, 12 in Cardinal is unstoppable. Turnover, Bruins.
I put an asterisk on some. JuJu is nice. I mean, she's so smooth in what she wants to do, and we say it so often. There is nothing you love more than a player that when the moment is biggest, they are ready to meet it.
Her family entrenched in this city. She decided to stay home to play college ball to help improve a program that felt something like a sleeping giant to her. 5. She tries to hook a pass. Howell couldn't come up with it. Arnesalo up ahead. That 3 won't go for Hawkins. UCLA had a chance, but the Bruins have trailed at the half now 3 times all year. Twice against USC, and it's the largest lead for the Trojans at 46-32.
They got some work to do, but there's a reason why you play 2 halves, and they're here at home, so some things to talk to as you head into the locker room.
Lindsey Gottlieb with Allison Williams.
Coach Gottlieb, the 23 points certainly jumps off the stat sheet for JuJu Watkins, but what has stood out to you about how she's impacted this game?
I mean,
mean, she's the best player in the country. They're throwing bodies at her, and she's making the right play, and she's making shots. But we got to win the game. We got to keep them off the boards. You know, I'm not surprised by what she's capable of, but we need to continue to make sure we keep them off the boards and we guard.
For your team, what has been the key to turning your defense into offense in that first half?
Well, I mean, Kennedy Smith is an incredible on-ball defender. I think we're trying to be aggressive and turn them over, and then I want us to play like we're shot out of a rocket and run really fast, and that usually gets us good looks on offense.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thank you. Jason?
You would say, yeah, they're absolutely doing that. Coming up at the half, our Ram Trucks halftime report. Mike Hill in Los Angeles have all of these headlines. Nobody has as good of a mustache as that guy we just saw. A buzzer beater out in Utah as well. We'll see if we have a buzzer beater here tonight. Right now, all USC trying to win this city. We send you for the Ram Trucks halftime report to our studio down the road right after this. You're watching Fox Prime Time Hoops.
Welcome to the halftime report powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. JuJu Watkins showing you why she is possibly the National Player of the Year. Putting on a show in the first half against UCLA, half of her team's points in the 46-32 lead at the half. Hey, welcome inside our LA studios. That's Kim Adams. I'm Mike Hill. There are some players who love the big stage. JuJuWatkins is one of those players. As a matter of fact, JuJu is the stage. The All-American putting on the show in that first half with 23 points as we take a look at the highlights powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Yeah, this is Fox Primetime Hoops. JuJuWatkins is a primetime player. To do what she just did as a sophomore, to go on the road in a rivalry game and put up 23 points. She had 25 points in the first half of the first meeting. Nothing different here. JuJuWatkins has made 4 threes in this game, and they have shown her different defenders, different looks, different coverages. As just a sophomore, she's read everything they've given her, and she's attacked and stayed aggressive. I mean, she is certainly raising her case for the National Player of the Year. Outstanding first half from Miss Watkins.
Remember, she had 38 in their first matchup. Meanwhile, the other All-American, LaurenBetts, a tough first half in a lot of ways for her.
Yeah, LaurenBetts still just sitting on 4 points. And there were some ones early that she normally makes, maybe a little tight as we see in these. I think this is actually a favorable matchup for her with Rhea Marshall. They bring in Akunwafo, who gives her more size. But some of these were just missed bunnies, and she is getting frustrated with double, triple teams, some travel calls. So I think she needs to take a deep breath. I think she needs to stay aggressive. They need to keep feeding it into her. I would like to see UCLA move her off the block a little bit. She's very stagnant, trying to post up. She's a magnet, drawing 2 or 3 defenders. I'd like to see them put her in some ball screens, maybe some cross screens, get her a little bit more active, because she is a mobile big that can move around a little bit. But they have to keep her confident and aggressive if they want to get back in this.
Corey Close would like to see the Bruins not turn the basketball over. 11 turnovers in that first half, leading to 17 USC points. A big reason why they had the lead, of course, with JuJu as well. Second half coming up momentarily. Hey, highlights coming up from around the country, including a huge rivalry game in the Big 12 between BYU and Utah that came down to a buzzer beater from half court.
Today, give your team a home court advantage as they battle for a tournament title. Don't miss the 2025 TIAA Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament in Indianapolis.
More women's hoops coming up tomorrow on FS1. It's a huge day for one of the best players in the country. Number 5 UConn hosting Marquette. That's at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Senior Day ceremony for All-American Paige Beckers and her senior teammates. One of the best ever. Big Ten action, Minnesota number 23, Michigan State.
A lot of Big Ten teams projected in the NCAA tournament field. These 2 teams hoping to make it. Theron Howlett, game was tied, and one puts them up. But then this Spartans team so experienced. Julia Aralt dialing it up from the land of the 3, and the Spartans wrap it up.
21st win of the season for Sparty. Number 18, West Virginia, Cincinnati. Big game for J.J. Quinterly.
Yeah, J.J. Quinterly, one of the best in the country at getting it done on both ends of the floor. As we see here, she gets it, runs it back. She finished with 31 points.
24 coming in the first half. The 85-69 win. How about this? BYU, Utah, 10 seconds remaining in overtime, tied at 73 off the steal. Maddie Wilkie from half court. Kimmy.
Woo! Banks it in. Utah with the overtime win, halftime buzzer beater. Maddie Wilkie, candidate for shot of the year.
We
Crazy.
love it. We love to see it, unless you're BYU. LaurenBetts, love to see her get going. Just 4 points, but 9 rebounds in this dime. Do the Bruins have a comeback in them in the second half? We'll find out shortly.
Sorry to JJ and Jaden, but JuJu is first in the J alphabet here at Pauley Pavilion so far tonight. First half stats powered by Ram trucks, built to serve. JuJuWatkins, a marvelous half. USC thriving points off turnover-wise. Jason Benetti, Sarah Kustok, Allison Williams, so happy to be here. So I'm going to ask you a question that you have to answer. You have to have a good answer for. How do you stop JuJuWatkins?
Yeah, if I had that answer, I wouldn't be sitting here next to you, Jay. But it's been extraordinary to watch how JuJuWatkins continues to operate in such a methodical and surgical way against this UCLA defense. She's getting the shots that she wants. She's opening up the floor for her teammates. We know the type of gravity that she has. But when she is this locked in with this type of efficiency and setting the tone early from the three-point line to then open things up, to use her strength, use her size and physicality to get to the basket, get to the line, and do a little bit of everything, it is so hard to stop her. And you see the points, you see what she did in the first half tonight, and that's just 2 points shy of her 25 that she had the last time these two teams met. This means something to her. This battle for Los Angeles, battle for the Big Ten title, and also just to showcase who she is as a player, and she's doing just that through this first half.
And her team has done it early in both quarters so far. USC opened the first quarter 13-2. The second quarter 17-6. UCLA just cannot afford that here in the third quarter. Although USC has had substantial foul trouble. Iriafen with 3 fouls back on the floor gets 2 to open the third.
So she played less than 8 minutes. And think about the fact that USC was still able to maintain that type of lead. Now they go to her quick and early. We'll see how that dynamic may shift.
Just tremendous staggered substitution from Lindsey Gottlieb to keep everybody available for this second half. That 3 is big for Dugalich.
And we're talking a lot about stopping JuJuWatkins, what USC has done offensively. For UCLA, one is it's making shots, not just three-point looks, which they have not done, but hitting some layups, which they have put themselves in good positions that they've just not seen fall.
Iriafen has been cooling her jets, and now they're ready to go. UCLA, to your point, has missed 8 layups in the game.
And it's not just those missed layups. They've also not taken care of the ball in the manner that we typically see from them.
Oh, that's really deep and called for a travel. Allison Williams, what do you have?
Well, exactly what you guys are talking about, and talking to UCLA's Corey Close. She said that first half was about transition D and not taking care of the basketball. Their 11 turnovers led to the 17 points for USC. She said offensively, they're just out of sorts. They need to be more composed and collected. She said we need to start working together to get each other easier shots.
How do you do that?
Just that. They're a more experienced group. They're a more veteran team. They're playing here at home. And understanding that you still have a whole half ahead of you. A 15-point deficit is not one that you cannot overcome.
Rice, a pretty good look, and it's deflected out of bounds.
But there's been a lack of sharpness. And give credit to USC's defense. They have disrupted UCLA, but it's some of the unforced turnovers. It's the runouts. It's lack of recognition. They're, in many cases, back in transition defense, but just not identifying players and having some breakdowns.
London Jones sticks a jumper from the corner. She had 87 threes last year, a school record as a sophomore, and she could flip this game.
They need it, and three-point shooting can flip this game. But UCLA has got to come out with a little bit of confidence and swag. And this is a USC team that is filled with a lot of gritty players, and you need to see that the same manner.
There's one of them. Van Olhoffen for two. USC back-to-back years with 23-plus wins for the first time since those two titles in the 80s when they were the toast of the town. That's an absolute bone crusher of a screen. Jones has 5 quick ones. I mean, that was essentially like a tombstone from The Undertaker in WWE from LaurenBetts right there.
I'll take your words for it.
Yeah, it was rough. Watkins probing, kept it on a string somehow, denied the lane, tries to go up and has it taken away. Good defense from Betts. Dugalich, and it's a tangle down low and a foul called against Rhea Marshall. That's her third.
Here's the screen you're talking about. LaurenBetts, excellent job at the angles and just setting it up. Teammates got to call that out because you are not kidding that Van Olhoffen got crushed on it, but that's part of what UCLA can do.
Another baseline inbound that leads to an open player in Jaquez, and she'll go to the foul line. What is happening on these baseline out of bounds?
Well, they're just well executed and run plays, and whether it's the lack of attention to detail by USC or UCLA just being patient through them, and that's typical to happen. But for UCLA, that's where they operate best offensively, and we have not seen that. And again, it goes hand in hand of very good pressuring USC defense, shooting the gaps, getting in passing lanes. However, for UCLA, the sharpness of their cutting, setting the angles, the type of screening, the type of off-ball activity, all of those things need to be at a higher level. And I think that's where there's been a little bit of drop-off there in the first half, and they got to get back up to that because that's where they get openings, especially when you're not getting the ball to Betts in the same frequency that you do in many occasions.
Yeah, she only had 4 points in that first half.
And it's about touches.
Watkins down low. Iriafen is met and fouled.
And some of that, too, comes from the guards, the penetration, breaking up and penetrating the defense to open up the floor and allow those areas. But some of that, too, is on LaurenBetts to put herself in scoring position. Comes through with the foul there with her arms over the top. And this is where USC, you mentioned it, Iriafen spent so much time on the bench. They're a big team. When they got players that are able to come in like Akunwafo or what that looks like with Iriafen next to her, and we know Rhea Marshall, all of those things across the board with Watkins and with Smith, they've got size and length, and that's why they are so disruptive defensively.
And that's why they are projected to be a 1 seed. So is UCLA. Winner gets the Big Ten title. If you're just joining us, Kiki Rice blitzes to the rim, 2 and a foul, and the crowd is lively again.
Exactly what you need to see from Kiki Rice. Ride with her here. She just does a nice job in turning the corner. And Smith's trying to evade some of those screens. There was a stagger initially trying to be set. Rice just blows by, using her speed. Kiki Rice is a player. She's so good on the defensive end and how she's able to navigate offensively through ball screens, handle the ball, orchestrate the offense. But I'd love to see her as well be more assertive and aggressive, looking for her own shot and looking to get herself to that mid-range into the basket.
She was a tremendous soccer player growing up, and in soccer you learn angles, and you can see that history. 2 state titles as a soccer player in the DMV.
And
chance of defense going up.
A lot of soccer players that play basketball are excellent defensively, too. You know how to move your feet.
Watkins calling for it. She's got it. The double shown. We'll see if it comes. She'll duck around the Akunwafo screen. It's a long 2, and it's good.
That's a tough shot by Watkins. UCLA continues to go under screens, but what they did want to do is have her go left, and she did it and still knocks it down.
Rice, rugged, fouled. 2 free throws for Kiki Rice, who took 11 free throw attempts in the first meeting. And you can see why.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Get to the basket, get downhill. She's able to initiate contact, embrace some of that contact. It's a big aspect what will open things up? She's a player that has gravity, but for that first half, UCLA was really trying to get it into Betts. The game plan for USC did a good job of sending two at her, so if Rice can start to open some things up, then hopefully that could potentially move the defense around enough that you can once again get Betts more involved.
Kiki Rice has just created the fourth foul on Talia von Oelhoffen, who has shot it well in the game so far. So that's a piece in the backcourt for USC that's off now, with Heckel and Howell in the backcourt. 4 fouls already in the quarter against USC, and we'll see if UCLA, playing the long game, gets the jackpot from that later. Out of the double, Iriafen on the skip for Howell. Iriafen moving without the ball, got herself a foul line jumper, rebound Akunwafo. Watkins on Watkins, step back. No, good defense from Watkins.
Excellent. That know your personnel, the game plan defense, still come out for the contest, but she was making sure to force JuJu to her left side, and it made it a tougher look.
At what point do we see the real damage from this foul trouble, if at all? Now, UCLA is putting some game pressure on. They're within 10, now to 9. Jones got an opening and missed it. With the spread like it is, Lindsay Gottlieb has some leeway with her substitution pad. Heckel starts her move. That's tipped. Auer lost it. Here comes Jones. She has Hawkins. Jones pull up. No good. Rebound out of bounds. It will stay with UCLA.
I like that shot from Jones, though. You're on the push. It's 2-on-2. Don't necessarily have a numbers advantage. Try and put up a three-point shot as UCLA is trying to get back into this one.
Next Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox Primetime Hoops.
Fox College Hoops is sponsored by DirecTV. Stream DirecTV without a satellite dish. UCLA has drawn within 9 in a battle for Los Angeles. 4:50 to go, third quarter. The students are lively because the Big Ten regular season title is on the line. Their first year together in the new league. Not that trophy, but that is a trophy. That's the water polo championship. Bring your own trophy night here in the boxing ring.
Both of these teams are going to put pressure on you. They like contact. They like to hit. They want to make sure you feel them, and that's exactly what we have seen. And whether it's been on the inside and post play, penetration, driving, on the perimeter, all of it, full court pressure. And that's, we know what is at stake. We've said it over and over again, and you see how that bears out in the compete level of these players.
Allison was listening in the USC huddle. Allison?
Well, Coach Gottlieb telling her team when UCLA has the ball, they are jamming it down our throats. Do not let them do that to us. We need to have good help side defense, and then when they do get the stops, get out and run with good spacing in transition. I know fouls are becoming a bit of a concern, but she told them, don't let them bully us. Don't foul, but don't let them bully us.
We will watch that help side defense when they are on that end of the floor. USC created a lot of the rugged play in the first half, and it's flipped here, Sarah.
Yeah, and that's what you would anticipate, though, with both of these teams, the level that they play at, and just a response that you wanted to see from the Bruins, and I think they're starting to show that. But this is going to be a pivotal couple minutes here as they close out the third quarter.
Rainbow, no dice. Rebound Watkins. Rice, sharp cut down the lane, and she is fouled. Boy, she was looking for that tunnel even before she received that ball.
I love this. I love how Kiki Rice came out of the half. She's looking to get downhill, get to the basket. She's finding those windows in areas, and a big part of how she's generated offense has been getting to the line. She's made just 2 field goals, but this is going to be her 6th and 7th attempts at the line, and that's where there has been somewhat of a balance here for UCLA. They're not shooting the 3 at the same volume or efficiency as USC has, and you look at the discrepancy in shots because of USC forcing turnovers, because of some of the offensive rebounding, but where UCLA has found extra opportunities has been at the free throw line.
Where Kiki Rice has not missed since the USC game the first time around. She's 26 for 26.
Jinx.
I did it after she made a shot.
Man.
Snarky Sarah.
Keep an eye out.
It's a 7-point game, down to 4 minutes here in the third. Erie and Fan down the lane, travel, no basket. The game pressure is building.
Yeah.
UCLA.
And you could feel it. And this is where, similarly, we're going back to that last meeting, and much because it was just 2 weeks ago, but this is where UCLA made a bit of a run, and they cut into things, and they made it a tight game down the stretch till those final few minutes of the fourth.
USC went away late in the game at Galen Center. Watkins wrestles it through. Betts is very deep and scores for 2. It's a 5-point game.
And that from Betts, she's so strong and she's got such good touch. She's got to just anticipate the contact, not worried about any fouls, any hits, and focus on those finishes. And that's what we didn't see in that first half.
Out of bounds off of UCLA. It'll stay with the Trojans. Gardner comes back in. Jones exits. But how big has London Jones been in this third quarter for UCLA?
Huge. And it's not just about making some shots, but it's the pace and tempo that she was forcing UCLA to play at. That's exactly what Allison was talking about, Lindsey Gottlieb saying during the timeout.
JuJu trying to be the fixer. She misses. Watkins saw her in the rear view. Gardner out of the double team. Does regather. This was a 16-point lead early in the third. Rice on the refeed from Betts. And a foul against USC once again. That's 3 on Watkins.
So you look at your entire starting unit, and at minimum all have 3. Van Olhoffen has 4. And you asked this question, I think rhetorically, but does and how does this maybe add up? What I will say is the Trojans have depth, and their reserves have come in and been really solid. But it is something that you have to continue to monitor, and maybe less so about concern of being on the floor or fouling out, but does it take you down just a notch where you're being a little bit more tentative in what you're doing, whether it's defensively, the type of pressure that they've shown, how that's forced turnovers, or how aggressive you are offensively. And that's where, if it changes the composition of some of those movements that you're making and how you're trying to play, you got to see and watch how that may factor in.
Missed by Rice. She's fleeced on the way up. We will have a tie-up. It'll stay with UCLA. And now a scrum in the corner. Rugby was on directly before this game, and it spilled over to Pauly. That is going to make both Millers thrilled. How about that? Reggie and Cheryl Miller, 2 greats for these 2 programs, applauding the energy, the effort, the care factor.
They are not the only one. This is, you got the entire building here on their feet at Pauly Pavilion.
What a scene this is. Malia Samuels defending Rice here. She didn't play very much at all. Gardner got open. She missed it for 3. Rebound Samuels. Feed Watkins. She's on the hop. JuJu gets mugged. 2 free throws coming on a hard foul.
On the push, JuJu Watkins, it's tough to slow her down when she's got a ton of momentum. You see Kiki Rice getting off her feet and making sure she knew she was going to foul here because she was already up and over the body, but making sure that didn't turn into an and one.
You mentioned so many players in this rivalry from this area. JuJu Watkins, her family has this deep connection to Watts south of here, and the slogan basically became the family slogan, don't move, improve. Improve your setting, improve your community. And JuJu Watkins wanted to do that with USC and stay home for that reason as she misses the free throw. Little did she know that half of the city, at least represented here in blue, would be working against her improvement.
And this is what it's all about. It is the beauty of basketball, the beauty of sports, the beauty of rivalries.
She missed both. What a game. That's in the high post. She wants it back. She won't take the shot. Rice has been the navigator. A dance step from Rice into a step back three. Rebound Trojans. They dodge one there.
Building was ready to explode if that went through.
4 minutes without a field goal for USC without a point.
And that's the difference maker, right? A USC team that so much of what they do is on the defensive end and generating offense out of their defense, and they've stagnated some. It's allowed UCLA to put themselves in striking distance with this one, and that's going to be important. And we talk about how teams have started quarters, but how things finish here in the third is going to be just as impactful.
The chanting air ball, which is officially poking the bear for JuJuWatkins. Samuels, what a tough drive. Her last points were February 5th. You never know who the hero is going to be in a game like this. Leach on Erie Effect. Wraparound pass, nobody home. Gardner the turnover. Watkins at the gas pedal. She really traveled. Erie Effect. Oh my! It's just muscle.
Artisella makes an excellent play in transition. How tough is it to slow down Watkins? Does that, but when forcing a miss, you've got to come up with those rebounds if you're UCLA.
We got a foul, I believe, against Kennedy Smith here for USC, and that's her fourth. 4 on Smith, 4 on Von Olhoff, and 3 on Watkins and Marshall and Iriafen. But credit Kiki Iriafen for playing this entire third quarter when she's been in without fouling. It's about to become a full-screen graphic of foul trouble. It's a lot of problems as Barker goes to the foul line.
Part of it is they give you 5 for a reason. This is a team that plays physical, and so there's a balance to that. And again, I'm going to circle back. In some ways, less about the foul-out nature, more about how much does it ultimately alter how you play and that type of pressure and toughness that you're playing with because you're concerned for.
Watkins steps to a double and met by Barker. She smoked it, and we get a whistle. Boy, that was a late whistle.
She got hit. Can we talk about the fact she just stepped her way through a double team? Yeah, Barker gets her with the body after the fact.
It is a foul. It was just either a late whistle or an inaudible whistle because of the cascade of boos and cheering combined.
I also think on her gather, her 1-2 step. I'm still impressed with her ability to be able to manipulate through 2 defenders trying to trap her.
This is an outstanding foul shooter that has missed now 3 in a row here in the third quarter. That's not exactly the Trojan slogan that the Bear has the sign for. It's a variation on a theme. Free throw good. It's a 5-0 run for USC and a much needed one. Samuels has done a very nice job on Rice. Iriafen steps in front. Kiki rookie Erie offense. 7 points in the third quarter. Another step through. JuJuWatkins riding down the lane. That was surgery. Again by 12.
Turnovers are going to get you because USC will come at you in transition. JuJuWatkins just bulldozes through. Look at that footwork. Whew. Pretty.
Big Ten College Hoops is powered by Ram Trucks. Built to serve. UCLA had cut this game to 4. It's a 7-0 run for USC. Sarah, how have the Trojans done it?
They're getting it in the open court in transition. Some of it is coming through turnovers, others through stops, and a big part has been JuJuWatkins getting to her spots. And you see right here just the activity, whether it's on the offensive glass, multiple effort plays, enforcing their will, but just really doing a job of picking apart the UCLA defense. And I feel like the Bruins can be a little bit tighter, whether it's on doubles, being more locked in, showing that type of pressure. It's USC that's in some foul trouble. And just because UCLA is missing shots, they can't allow that to factor into how they're playing on the defensive end. I feel like that's happened a handful too many times.
30 seconds to go, third quarter. Here is Gardner through Watkins, who's been very important in this comeback. And we get a whistle on the drive and a turnover, UCLA. It's a 3-second.
I keep saying it, like, give credit to USC's defense because UCLA is disjointed on offense. They haven't had good rhythm, good flow, and I think a big part of that has been what the Trojans have been doing to them, but we just haven't seen the consistency of them getting the quality of looks that they're used to.
Erie taking matters into her own hands after not playing much in the first half with foul trouble. Rice picks up the dribble. Gardner's got to shoot. She didn't know it. And USC has taken UCLA and moved the Bruins out of sorts again late in this third quarter. Well, we do know that this state knows how to party in the city of LA. We'll keep it rocking next. Our game summary sponsored by Progressive. Gets slam dunk savings today. +7 in the turnovers tonight for USC. +18 in the season series. It was 20-9 in the first meeting. It's 15-8 tonight. Points off turnovers are basically the entire lead in that zone.
It's not, I mean, 23-4. Creating 23 points off of mistakes by UCLA, and that's tough to swallow. And you're looking at a player in LaurenBetts who we know the presence she has, the dominance she could be on the inside. She has just 7 shots, and so it's not even about necessarily misses, which the Bruins had missed some layups, especially in that first half, but it's getting the ball to the places of the floor you want to, and doing so with forcefulness, and they just have not. It has been USC that's imposed their will for most of this game.
And they've created 5 turnovers from LaurenBetts so far tonight with 10 minutes to go. Big Ten title hanging in the balance. Samuels teased it up and missed it right. Rebound for Rice.
And there's plenty of time left in this game, but you got to see a little bit more sharpness.
Like that.
Like that. Those are the, whether it's the balance and spread on the floor, whether it's the entry passes, the screening, deep steals, work done before a catch. That's what the Bruins do, and that's what they need to get back to.
Rhea Marshall has hit a couple of those tonight for USC. Rice trying to bruise down the back door. Samuels has played great defensive minutes. That shot won't fall. It's a rebound for Marshall again. Samuels, the track star in high school. I mean, you talk about 12 minutes a game, not a whole lot of runs. 6 minutes last time out. She's been huge. Erie bulldozing through, no whistle, and she's got 2 on a reverse.
Patience at the end of her dribble. She avoids Betts being able to get a hand on that one because she goes reverse on the opposite side of the basket. I keep saying there's a confidence that this USC team has had out of the gates, and whether it was coming off that win or just in general how they've been coming together and playing, their chemistry has built night by night.
Rice sinks 2. USC has played tonight like they felt like when they walked in the building they were going to win the game. It's on the floor. Samuels rescues it. Watkins to Howell in the corner. Catch and shoot. Ring it up. The freshman from Boise, her first make. She has been so important from 3 for this team. That's too much. Rebound, Iriafen, who has played like herself and then some in the second half. Howell again. Oh, man. Avery Howell, sharpshooter to the stars, has 6 in a row.
I think that's as big as we've seen Watkins smile tonight. Get into the hot hand. Howell, an important piece of opening up the floor. USC has shot the ball from 3 really well. That was a component we talked about early on.
That's too strong. A rebound, out of bounds.
USC has been pouring it on. Push and transition. Howell, same spot, same result. Yeah, line it up, and that's what she does. It goes back to transition defense for UCLA has not been there, and just understanding where to pick up players early, and they've gotten the looks they wanted.
That's trying to clear and road grade, and she gets fouled to go to the free throw line. It's on Marshall. That's her 4th. Everybody's kind of like Wile E. Coyote at the edge of the cliff, right? Fingertips on the edge, hoping the Acme rope stays connected. Betts got the first. Think about UCLA's season. A 23-game win streak. 22 straight double-figure wins at one point. They have 1 loss all year. They could have a second, and they'd both be against the same team that happens to inhabit the same city. 10-second call, turnover with under 7 to go. It's got to start now for the Bruins.
It's got to start now, and for USC, they just have not allowed that. Even when UCLA cut it as close as 5, was it? It was USC that continued to dictate the tempo and the pace, and it's this end of the floor where they've started it at.
Rice did not get the bounce, and Iriafen snares the rebound and goes streaking down the floor. She wants to do this herself. Iriafen possessed. Got it. That is unreal belief. She could have gotten quintuple teamed if she was taking that shot. Jones, good.
And for UCLA, Jones, we talked about this early coming in. Look, there's still 6 minutes left in this game. Score aside, this too comes down to a matter of pride, a matter of what you're building at this point of the season, how you want to play, how you want to perform. So you need to see that sense of urgency and sense of life.
How you going to the Big Ten tournament? How you going to the NCAA tournament? That is just smoked by Betts.
Exactly plays like that.
Yes.
Because that's what she does. LaurenBetts is 5th in the country in blocks per game.
Oh, Watkins, who had 8 of them last time, is going to savor that.
Coming over the top, and so is JuJuWatkins. Yeah, stop and stare. You earned that, JuJu.
Thought Brian Biederman, our director, was choosing the cameras, but it's actually JuJuWatkins selecting the cameras tonight.
They're both the best in the business.
She's better at blocking shots. She got 2 in a row. And listening to Lindsey Gottlieb talk about JuJuWatkins defensively, she was talking to Beth Burns, her longtime assistant, And Beth kept saying as they were watching tape, are you going to drill that play? You're going to make that happen defensively in drills? The answer is no. JuJu just does it herself and plays by her instincts as Gottlieb tells her to.
That's the word, though.
Dugalich. No, that stays alive off the backboard. Nwako lost it out of bounds.
And you're starting to see that filter, and it has, through how USC plays and the freedom that Lindsay Gottlieb entrusts them with of playing with instincts. Yes, you have a game plan, but a lot of these players, JuJu Watkins being one, is just extremely talented, a smart basketball mind, and has those instincts. And so a lot of those plays, some of those blocks, some of that is freelancing.
And that's why they have had such success, as Von Oelhoffen fouls out of this ball game. It's an off-the-ball foul on an inbound play, so they lose one of the players who steers this offense with 5:11 to go. To your point, Sarah, Kiki Iriafen talked about that she comes from Stanford, which was a very buttoned-up offense, and has had some more creative freedom as Jones can't hit. Iriafen just fangs out, grabs the rebound. Watkins, step aside three. Oh, she wanted the intercept there. She was watching Gardner's eyes.
And that was a smart play by Gardner, because too often tonight UCLA has telegraphed those passes, and it's led to two the other way.
Jones missed it. USC trying to take some air out of the balloon. Iriafen has been a star in the second half. Twisting again. This time she misses, and the rebound out of bounds to the Bruins. The trophy is in attendance. Two competitors from Los Angeles are as well. Can USC put away a Big Ten title? Behind that, Steely Claire. 76-59 here at UCLA. JuJu Watkins' family is here. Her mom is here. Her mom is one of 5 girls in her own family, and it is such a connected family unit, and they have to be so unbelievably proud of their daughter and friend and cousin and sister.
She shows up, she shows out, and she does so in such a consistent way. It has been impressive to watch every aspect of the game she has impacted. As JuJu goes, that's how USC goes. And you saw that from the get-go of how she was able to set the tone. Same thing could be said the last time that these two met, and they knocked off UCLA when they were 23-0. And once again, you see it here tonight. And the confidence is overflowing, but I think so much of it begins with her.
She's our steady performance, sponsored by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. Gardner, no. That's a compliment, by the way. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't call you brilliant.
I don't need you to call me that, but it may be true.
No, it's not.
It may be accurate.
It's not about you. There's Samuels with USC up by 17. What a performance so far tonight for the Trojans. They're going to try and put this thing away and win a Big Ten title. They double her, and they hit ahead for Rice. It's a race, and Watkins gets over there at least to get a hand in and come up the works, and it will be USC basketball. You know, we talked about JuJu Watkins' family and her grandfather and her great-grandfather as community organizers and participants, and trying to build something that's sustainable in Watts and beyond in the Los Angeles area. And it really is interesting what sports can do. She's doing it in her own way, with her own touchstone, with her own sport and avenue. But it's the same idea that has grown for generations in her family. And now she and her teammates are doing it together to draw attention to not only a school and a city, but a sport that deserves it in so many ways.
Yeah, and we say this too, just remembering the foundation that has been laid, you know, in just USC has been able to do. So many players, we're talking about Cheryl Miller sitting right here, but have come before, Tina Thompson and Cynthia Cooper and Lisa Leslie and all the rest. And that's what it's all about, building on that foundation. And you see where the game is at, and the game is in good hands, to say the least, across the board. But that's all a part of it for the program. And you know, and JuJu Watkins being a huge part of that, but for Lindsay Gottlieb as well. You know, USC now 25-plus wins in consecutive seasons. That's the first time since Linda Sharp was the head coach back in 82, 83, 83, 84. That's when they were national champions both of those years. So it is fun to continue to watch and see what that means and what that means for all of these individuals, the alums, the fans, and the young future hoopers that are watching and aspiring to be.
And there are plenty of them here once again. I mean, it's exponential growth when you have somebody like Caitlin Clark, but then you pass the torch in terms of college scoring numbers to somebody like JuJu Watkins, and it is so fitting that we have Cheryl Miller here in attendance tonight, and Ann Myers-Drysdale, a tremendous ambassador for the game of college basketball. And there are generations watching this that I think, I mean, you had a marvelous career at DePaul, and for you to see what this game has become, just this specific one for a Big Ten title, it is a powerful thing as we get a foul on Hawkins. And Lindsay Gottlieb, as an aside here, we've had USC at some different interesting way stations this year. You know, we had the game at Connecticut. Lindsay talked about going to Gino Auriemma's camp and getting to know him as she was growing up in the game. And then she keeps her team on the floor in Iowa for the Caitlin Clark jersey retirement. And it seems very fitting that USC, on this journey they've been on, with a nod to history at every step, has put together such a complete performance in a big night as Watkins misses. Rebound from Marshall, and they will reload.
In the fun of the parody of basketball right now and the game, the other teams out there, what things look like as we get set to start to head into the postseason. You think about not only conference and league tournaments, but NCAA tournaments. So I know that USC has had a good grasp on this one and how they've handled UCLA and sweeping also the season series, but you better not be counting out the Bruins in any capacity if you're a fan, because there's a long season to go and a lot of resiliency and response for all of these teams that have the fun of March ahead.
UCLA's average margin in their games this year is plus 22 and change. They are not a good, not a great, but a spectacular team. The SC folks are playing call and answer at Pauley Pavilion right now, and they will get all of the marrow out of them. This may not be the last time these two teams see each other this year.
Very true, very true. Could come sooner than we expect.
Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament. There are a couple of opportunities for this thing to not be the end of the line for this series. But they're not thinking about that right now in the USC section. They're thinking about exactly how long they're going to be up to. And the answer is question mark. Free throw good for Watkins. Gets two more. Sarah, when you walked in this building tonight, what'd you think? About the crowd, about the atmosphere, as a connoisseur of this game?
It does not get any better than this. Pauley Pavilion, Los Angeles, you owe me nothing. This was extraordinary in everything you could ask for. If you're a fan of the Bruins, obviously you wish the outcome was different, but everything about this game and this environment was all you could hope for and more.
JuJu Watkins says, mine, thank you. He's got time for a high five on the way down.
Do not have I was so backside after Cheryl wound up on that one.
I mean, that is awesome.
Oh, sweet Cheryl smacked her. What a performance.
She is so serious and so stoic, and then one football outside the boundary of the court, and suddenly it's pure joy. Timeout UCLA with under a minute to go. Well, two legends, when they get together, you never know. JuJu Watkins, Cheryl Miller. And credit her teammates. The bench for USC has been dynamic. Malia Samuel's defense, but, you know, I don't know, maybe the start right now is Cheryl Miller. Cheryl says, Reggie, look at the camera. Show your face. So good.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And you said it. JuJu set the tone, but the entirety of that USC Trojans team, starting with the game plan and beginning on the defensive end of the floor against an elite UCLA group.
Ball still live and out of bounds it goes. This will be UCLA basketball. Well, if this doesn't get you excited for the postseason, Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament, I don't know what will, but you're talking about 2 1 seeds here. And I wouldn't imagine UCLA is going to lose that standing, depending on obviously what happens in the Big Ten tournament. But the Bruins, they've lost once, and they're going to have lost twice, and it's going to be to the same team that happens to be their rival.
And sometimes things that rivalry, those emotions, that matters, and what that meant, it means to both teams, but clearly to the USC Trojans, and also sometimes matchups matter. Differences in game plans and how teams come at you, and teams just have another's number. And we've seen that thus far in a very small sample size here in these 2 games this season.
Look no further than Ryan Day and his last 365 days to tell you that a rivalry isn't everything in your season. Timeout USC, 30-second timeout. When Michigan beat Ohio State again in college football, it was electric in the wrong way in talk radio town in Columbus. You lose to your rival, there is major stink. There are recruiting ramifications as well. However, this is a long game for both of these teams as we go into the postseason. And we said it, but they might play twice more. And then what? You know how hard it is to beat a team 3 times, 4 times.
That's why we play the game.
That's right.
That's the beauty of the season and the postseason and what things look like, and just the longevity of a group coming together, how it comes together in terms of chemistry. And this USC team, they're a young team as well. They've got some veteran presence and some other transfers, but they've got a lot of young players that play valuable minutes. And then you look at the UCLA side of things, and they're a very experienced, composed team. And so there's the other aspect of it, of what they're going to be accustomed to doing and preparing and approaching the postseason.
Credit to Lindsey Gottlieb as well for an unbelievable job of substituting through foul trouble tonight. Jones on the drive. She's got 2. USC never trailed tonight. On the way to staking claim to Los Angeles and the Big Ten. The Trojans, 80-67, take the Big Ten title in a sweep over UCLA.
A dominant performance by the Trojans, starting at the defensive end of the floor and engineered by JuJu Watkins. Complete team effort in how they played, but it was JuJu Watkins setting the tone early and all throughout, both ends of the floor. And it's not just about the production and the numbers, it's the leadership value, it's the mentality, and that was infused to everyone else on her team. Watch out. USC, yeah, they've owned Los Angeles so far this season.
And they will go into the Big Ten tournament as scary of a team as you have in college basketball. 80-67, the celebration is on.
Come on,
Allison Williams has JuJu Watkins. Allison.
Thanks, Jason. JuJu, congratulations on a heck of a performance. So much on the line in this rivalry game. What was the mindset you guys brought into this game that allowed you to be successful?
I think teamwork. You know, everybody scored. Everybody made a positive effect on the game. So I'm really proud of what we came to do here, and we really said what we were going to do, and we did it.
You certainly had a positive effect on the game. 30 points, 3 blocks. You're from this city. What is it about playing in this game, this rivalry game, that brings out the best in you?
Yeah, I think it means so much, just knowing the history of it all. This is a really historic building, especially for USC. You know, we come here not that often.
To JuJu Watkins for spending the time. You see the pride that her head coach has for the work she puts in away from what we see. And I think that goes for the entirety of this team, Sarah.
The relentless and a resiliency about them, and obviously a drive and a motivation for the bigger picture of what they want to accomplish.